What a lovely way to begin our Mother's Day service. Wasn't that a sweet video? Yeah, really nice. Well, good morning, and welcome to the home of Unitarian Universalism in Central Washington. My name is Pat Whitfield, and I serve on the worship committee. I am a greeter, and I also sing with the choir. So that's my engagement, and I'll be your celebrant this morning. If you are a visitor, and I know we have some visitors this morning, we're so glad you're here. We welcome every person of goodwill, just as you are, whatever body you inhabit, whomever you love, whatever your age, you are welcome here. We invite everyone to join us for coffee, treats, and conversation after the service, both in person and on Zoom. For those of you who are on Zoom, you'll find the order of service in the chat. The land. The land is very important to us all, and our fellowship is located on the ancestral homeland of the Piscosa. For thousands of years, the Piscosa have been stewards of this land, fishing, hunting, gathering roots and berries, and practicing cultural traditions. Piscosas still live here. We acknowledge that their land has been taken over because the U.S. government broke treaty obligations and carelessly allowed uninvited white colonizers to settle here. We stand alongside our indigenous neighbors as they continue their traditions and seek to have all their rights recognized. We acknowledge our shared responsibilities to sustain right relations with each other and the land. For more on this subject, please visit our website, cascadeuu.org, and look for Land Acknowledgement under Welcome. And now, let us join in singing our congregational song. Please stand to do so. Gathered here, number 389, and it's going to be sung in a round led by Steve and his friends. Hello, hello, there we go. Technical difficulties. All right, we have wisdom readings now, 2 of them. The first is The Way to Love by Anthony DeMello. If you want to know what it means to be happy, look at a flower, a bird, an infant. They are perfect images of the kingdom, for they live from moment to moment in the eternal now, with no past and no future. So they are spared the guilt and anxiety that so torment human beings, and they are full of the sheer joy of living, taking delight not so much in persons or things as in life itself. As long as your happiness is caused or sustained by something or someone outside of you, you are still in the land of the dead. The day you are happy for no reason whatsoever, the day you find yourself taking delight in everything and in nothing, you will know that you have found the land of unending joy called the kingdom. The second of the wisdom readings is, coincidentally enough, A Butterfly by Zhuangzi, as translated by Lin Yutang. Once upon a time, I, Zhuangzi, dreamt I was a butterfly, fluttering hither and thither to all intents and purposes, a butterfly. I was conscious only of my happiness as a butterfly, unaware that I was me. Soon I awaked, and there I was, veritably myself again. But now, I do not know whether I was then a human dreaming I was a butterfly, or whether I am now a butterfly dreaming I am a human.
1945.
The other day, I was walking over in the Horan Natural Area near Walla Walla Park, and I saw 3 white butterflies fluttering in the grass. Reminded me of Coyote, and that's why I told the Coyote story. The butterflies. It's striking to me that when I've lived in other parts of the country, in the Midwest, there will be more butterflies, numerically many more butterflies than there are in this valley or across the mountains where I've lived the past 10 years. And and the reason I was bringing that up is that instead of butterflies, often what I see are the breeze flowing over the yellow flowers and watching the way in which the balsam root wave and kind of flutter in the wind sometimes. The presence of joy is everywhere in the world. There's I saw this singer Nina. Recently, I saw a little video of the singer Nina Simone. Some of you may remember Nina, powerful singer, fantastic singer. And it was a still photo of her holding a microphone in her right hand, and her hand was out. She had this like royal jewelry in her hair, just bundled up and she just looked truly significant. She had a glittery gown on, but then someone had integrated into the photo where she had her hand out, the globe of the earth, and the globe was spinning. And I thought of her song, immediately thought of her song, the one that she made famous, had been written a couple years before, but she made famous in 1963 and 1965, right in the center of the pain and anxiety and hope of the struggle for racial equality and civil rights in this country. She sang "Feeling Good." And the last verses say, "Dragonfly out in the sun, you know what I mean, don't you know? Butterflies all having fun, you know what I mean. Sleep in peace when the day is done, that's what I mean. And this old world is a new world and a bold world for me. Stars, when you shine, you know how I feel. Scent of the pine, you know how I feel. Oh, freedom is mine, and I know how I feel." And then she she adds some very fancy vocals here, which I could not possibly echo. And she adds, "And I'm feeling good." I want each of you to feel good this day. I want you to enjoy life and appreciate life and feel its vibrations, no matter what. But to enjoy life is not always easy. Today, butterflies are emblems of a dimension of spiritual joy. Many different religious thinkers will talk about this deep joy within life that's always present, but they represent an enduring quality of being that is energetic and vibrant and vibrating, right? Fluttering. Not merely that serious, serene, transcendent form of bienestar, of wellness, but a state of playful, laughter-filled uplift. I heard that there were a group of butterflies who decided not to go to the dance. There was going to be a big dance one night, and they were going to go, but then they decided not to go because they heard it was going to be a mothball. Thank you. Makes me feel at home. This is how it's like at my house all the time. Groans. When she laughs, butterflies. That's the full title of the sermon. When she laughs, butterflies. Comes from a rather mediocre love poem. But I thought about what it is when someone laughs, when there's laughter and the spirit lifts up and everyone else joins in. I was thinking about this when last night our group was talking about the movie Little Big Man, and there's this character, Old Lodgeskins. He's the grandfather of Dustin Hoffman's character, and several times he says, "My heart soars like an eagle." Butterflies are not eagles. They do not soar. They flutter. And they're very, eagles have this sort of strength, but they also kind of carry a sense of struggle and difficulty and pushing against scarcity in the world. But the butterflies, they just come when the flowers are in bloom and they're full of life, and they live joyfully for as short as they can. Now, butterflies have, the species, of course, have several different forms. There's eggs, and there's caterpillars, and there's pupae, and then there's the butterfly. But I'm talking about the flying creatures. And I know that there are some people, I've actually met people who find butterflies really creepy. I went once to a botanic gardens, enclosed botanic gardens, and there were many butterflies, those incredible iridescent blue things fluttering about, and many others. And my friend was just totally creeped out. She goes, there's these insects all over. There's too many of them, and they're going to land on me. But mostly, they're full light, life, and color. I'm told there's a story about Albert Einstein. I haven't found out whether it's really true or not, but there was a woman who lived near to him, and Albert loved his garden. He would go out into the garden, and maybe it was in the spring, and there were butterflies, maybe. But she comes up to him, and she greets him, gives him the greetings, and she says, "It's a beautiful day." And he nods. She goes, "Too bad it can't last." And he looks at her and he says, "Madam, nothing lasts." This is the price of living, the experience of tragedy, experience of loss, of grief, of endings. And butterflies are emblems of this fragile beauty that returns again and again and is woven into the wholeness of life. Butterflies are very fragile. If you rub their wings, you can take off the scales and prevent them from being able to fly anymore. They only live for days, often hours, sometimes a few weeks. Even the migrating monarchs that go all the way to Mexico during that stage in their life when they're just migrating, they live up to 8 or 9 months, and then they're gone. And it's another group that comes back after they have died, that returns north, travels north. So the monarchs, they get here, have never been here before. Butterflies flitter in and out of our lives, and yet do it over and over again. And who is it that laughs? Who is it whose laughter brings butterflies? And the title of my sermon was from a love poem, so it's obviously an individual human being. She may be, for you, someone very particular. There's a woman I have lived with for some 40 years. 40 years we have been married. We're going to have our 40th anniversary in August. 40 years. And when she laughs, it is wonderful. Of course, I've also seen her very angry. I've seen her very sad. And so when she laughs, my heart fills with butterflies. Joy comes. There's this ideal Jewish woman mentioned in Jewish scriptures. It's the Proverbs 31. She's a woman clothed with strength and dignity, and she can laugh at the days to come. But then again, she who laughs may not be a human being at all. I have a book at home, a theological book called She Who Is, which is a reference to the divine. Could be just springtime. She is springtime. When springtime laughs butterflies, right? She could be Mother Nature or Gaia, the earth itself. Douglas Jerrold, when writing about Australia in the classic book A Land of Plenty, said, "Earth here is so kind that just tickle her with a hoe and she will laugh a harvest." last night we were talking about the aurora, and I hope Owen doesn't mind that I mentioned there was this great moment we were talking about this beauty of the the solar radiation coming down and it's hitting the atmosphere, and then the atmosphere starts glowing, and Owen said, "And I feel like she's protecting us. She, the earth, the air, the sky, is protecting us." Earth is one embodiment of a universe more vast and unknowable than we can imagine, and yet within it always is this joyful beauty, wonder, awe. And it can make us laugh, it can make us smile. So many of the teachers that I've had over my entire life have emphasized the importance of being able to relax into the beauty of life, the goodness of life, and how hard that can be for us. There are different religious traditions that talk about God as play. Mahadevi is a great figure within India, the great mother who makes all things full of joy and grace and kindness. I heard one story about Mahadevi giving birth to Shiva, a great deity, and she gives him earth to play with, like a round little ball. And he giggles as he plays with the earth. He laughs at its foolishness. Goodness and health arises always with laughter. Laughter has very physical benefits for each of us. It reduces stress hormones. It strengthens our immune system. It provides cardiac conditioning. It lowers blood pressure. And it reduces respiratory problems by cleaning the lungs. Now, I know not all laughter comes from goodness. There is cruel laughter. But I'm invoking the kind of laughter that comes in a moment of surprise and release. I once read a story in the book Xenocide. It's by a guy named Orson Scott Card. And it's about this man who goes to Polynesia. He needs help. And there's a particular woman there. And he goes to meet her. And he comes in, welcomed into her family home, and her whole extended family is there. And he's struck immediately about how happy these people are, how much they laugh. They just seem really jovial, and they're always laughing at him. And he thinks, I'm very jovial. These Polynesians are very jovial people. And then he needs to talk to this one woman about the scientific problem. So he goes off with her, and they're alone. And he said, "You don't seem like the rest of your family. You seem very serious and tight." And he goes, "But your family's just so full of life." And she says, I'm not sure what you're talking about. And he talks about the laughter. And she says, "The reason we laugh is because we are nervous. Everything you do is out of place. You break so many rules. You insult us in so many ways we cannot even speak of them all. We don't know what you are doing. You don't know what you are doing. And so we laugh to break the tension." She pauses and then said, "If we did not laugh, we would have to kill you." The tragedy and the tension and the worry of human life build up. And it would kill us all early if we did not find a way to laugh at it and to remember that the laughter is still there, always rising up from the earth. Life is so full of loss, the temptation is not to love. Temptation is not to laugh. We want our stories to have happy endings, but we know that stories will contain fear and pain, and so we steel ourselves against it. So the butterfly embodies the ability, the healthy and joyous ability to live with sorrow. At the same time, continue to live and affirm life. Richard Jefferies wrote of this dimension of being, saying, "It is eternity now. I'm in the middle of it. It is about me in the sunshine. I am in it as the butterfly in the light-laden air. Nothing has to come. It is now. Now is eternity. And River likes that eternity. To just be in the moment where his master is here and he's well fed. Life is good. I read an essay by a woman whose brother died. Her brother died very suddenly. He was in his 30s. He was 39. And she says, one moment he was in the midst of a regular work day. Half an hour later, he was gone. Things happening so fast, I found myself alternating between paralysis, numbness, and intense waves of pain and fear and anger and guilt and sorrow and devastation. She assumed and could see in the faces of her brother's wife, of everyone in her family, she could see the same feelings. And they gathered at a park for a memorial picnic. His body was cremated, and they were going to release the ashes. And she was sitting there with this kind of grief and sorrow, and she saw his children. And his children were playing a game of tag and laughing. And her first immediate response as an adult who understood what was going on was to be sort of angry and judgmental at these children who were not paying attention. And then they came and sat down to have ice cream together. And they were smiling at the deliciousness of the ice cream. And she realized she had this awakening in that moment, looking at those happy faces, that they weren't being insensitive. They were being children. She realized that it wasn't that they did not understand, they were just being fully human. They were simply going with the constantly changing flows of their own experiences, accepting death and loss as part of the reality. They knew nothing different. They were willing to affirm that it was part of the wholeness of their reality. When they missed their father, when they were sad, they cried fiercely. She saw in that her own call back to wholeness. Confronted by a personal tragedy, or an act of terror, or a natural disaster, or genocide, we must grieve and still be open that life is worth all that pain. Life can still contain butterflies and butterfly laughter. I've often done UU memorials, and what many people who are from other religious traditions will remark about the memorials I do is that there's laughter in them. People will tell jokes. I remember when I was at one congregation, there's a guy named Marvin who loved gardening. Marvin loved gardening. He hated squirrels. He was really, again, he had a phrase, just say no to squirrels. And his friends made a t-shirt, a whole bunch of t-shirts that anyone could take. T-shirts that said, wanted dead or alive, and then it had 4 squirrels, different pictures of squirrels with eye patches or bandanas and these horrible names. Pedro el Ardilla Terrible was one of the names of the squirrels. Freddy, Fast Freddy was another one. He was the one with the eye patch. To laugh, even in the midst of sorrow and grief, is to affirm that life, to affirm who he was, for he liked to laugh. I remember not long before he died, I went to visit him, and I was expecting to talk about the grief and sorrow, and he said, hey, let's eat some ice cream. I said, ice cream, why? And he goes, because it's so delicious. It was his favorite thing, was eating ice cream, and so we ate ice cream together only a month or so before he died. Still enjoying life, affirming life. Langston Hughes wrote about life. In time of silver rain, he said, in time of silver rain, the butterflies lift silken wings to catch a rainbow cry. And trees put forth new leaves to sing in joy beneath the sky. So let the joy of life flutter up like butterflies in our days, in our moments, in our hours. Flutter like butterflies, let us fly and soar with the goodness and the joy of life. We may be broken-hearted, but to be broken-hearted, open, is to understand the wholeness of life and to affirm it nonetheless. So may we be blessed with this company and the goodness that comes from being in this gathered community. Let's carry that with us into the week to come. So may it be. Amen. We now will extinguish the chalice and use our traditional words to do so. I always do the words first and then I do the action. So the action as we extinguish this flame, not the light of truth, warmth of love, fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together. And then those who wish, form a circle and give each other a blessing to go on our way. It's good to see you. Yeah, we could reach out and just, if you want to be a part of a circle, we can connect. Just do that. That's fine. Yay, we are all connected. Love until we meet again. Carry the flame of peace and love until we meet again. Go in peace.